I said. Take a seat, Professor Eleanor Whitmore repeated, her steely blue eyes locking on the only black student in the room. Her words carried an icy weight, intended not as an invitation, but a demand. Darius Evans stood still for a moment, the pain in his lower back a sharp reminder of the fall he'd taken just 2 days earlier while playing basketball with his brother. I injured my back recently, ma'am, Darius said respectfully. Would it be possible for me to stand for today's lesson? Professor Whitmore narrowed her eyes, the corners of her mouth twisting. This isn't a public school, Mr. Evans. At Westbridge Academy, we follow instructions. Sit down immediately or leave my classroom. The room fell silent. Darius glanced at the other students, most of them in pristine uniforms, expressions unreadable. The one Asian American girl near the window offered him a small, encouraging smile. Gritting his teeth against the pain, Darius lowered himself into the chair. A ripple of whispers followed. Professor Whitmore turned to the board, chalk already in hand. This course, she said crisply, will separate those with true mathematical talent from those who merely think they have it. Her eyes flicked briefly to Darius. The implication was clear. Darius had known Westbridge would be different. When he'd received the acceptance letter, his mother wept in joy. Your father would be so proud, she said, clutching him tightly. It had been his father, a brilliant systems engineer, who had first noticed his mathematical gifts, bringing home college-level textbooks when Darius was just 8. 2 weeks after the letter arrived, Darius and his mother met with Headmaster Roland Marks. Your son's entrance scores are among the highest we've seen, especially in mathematics, Headmaster Marks said, his British accent polished and precise. But Westbridge is traditional. Our students often come from specific educational backgrounds. Integration might prove challenging. My son adapts quickly, his mother said firmly. Headmaster Marks smiled, though it didn't reach his eyes. We're committed to diversity, of course. Just be prepared, Mr. Evans. Excellence here isn't just about intelligence. It's about fitting in. Fitting in. That phrase echoed in Darius's mind as he stood outside his dorm room the night before classes began. He opened one of his father's old notebooks. On the first page was a quote, "Mathematics doesn't care about the color of your skin, only the courage of your mind." Darius traced those words with his fingertip, then closed the book with renewed resolve. Westbridge might not be ready for him, but he was ready for Westbridge. His first week was brutal. In every class except Whitmore's, his hand shot up with answers. Some met with mild surprise, others with admiration. But in her classroom, his presence felt like a test she hadn't authorized. Professor Whitmore never called on him. When he volunteered an answer, correctly solving a problem that had stumped most of the class, she replied coldly, incorrect, without explanation. That day, the girl by the window passed him a folded note. You were right. Don't let her get to you. I'm Mia. By the third week, Darius was beginning to dread every morning. Professor Whitmore scrutinized his homework, docking points for formatting inconsistencies and vague conceptual weaknesses, despite showing flawless logic. When he breezed through a complex differential equation on the board, she accused him of cheating. It's impossible, she declared. A student from your background couldn't possibly grasp advanced Taylor expansions so intuitively. See me after class. After the final bell rang, the room emptied. Darius remained seated. I don't know how you got those answers, Whitmore said, her tone icy, but intuition can't be faked. You may impress others, Mr. Evans, but not me. Stand up. Darius hesitated. You stood on your first day, claiming you were injured. Now you fidget in your chair. Is it an attention strategy? I was genuinely hurt, he replied calmly. I'm not trying to stand out. You already do, she muttered. And not in a way that impresses me. Then, without warning, she slammed a metal ruler on his desk. It struck his fingers. You're dismissed. Outside, Mia waited. I heard everything, she whispered. You need to report her. The next day, Darius met with Headmaster Marks. He explained everything, her hostility, the false accusations, the physical contact. Marks steepled his fingers. Miss Whitmore has taught here for 20 years. She's rigorous. She hit me with a ruler, Darius said softly. Marks's expression flickered. Did anyone witness it? No. It was after class. I'll speak with her, Marks replied. But I suggest you focus on adapting. Westbridge has high expectations. When Darius left the office, Mia was waiting with a small journal. I've been documenting everything, she said. Every comment, every grade discrepancy. She did the same thing to another scholarship student last year. His name was Jalen. He transferred after 2 months. I'm not letting that happen again. That night, Darius told his mother everything. She was furious. "I'm calling the school." "No, Mom. Please. If you step in, she'll say I can't handle it." His brother Malcolm, home from college for the weekend, had been listening from the doorway. "She's wrong," Malcolm said. "You're stronger than this. But you don't have to fight alone." He handed Darius a number. "Dr. Leonard Blake, math professor at my university. Helped me out when my advisor doubted me. I told him about you. He wants to help." Monday morning, a new poster appeared in Whitmore's classroom, the annual Westbridge Mathematics Invitational, an elite competition reserved for students with A averages in advanced math. "Only students who've completed one semester are eligible," Whitmore said, her gaze locking on Darius. "That's not in the official rules," Darius objected after class. "The committee reserves the right to set standards." "I chair that committee," she said smugly. "Then let me prove myself." Whitmore's eyes gleamed. "Very well. Solve this." She turned to the board and scrawled a monstrous equation, pages worth of symbols and notations, then stepped back. "This is a modified Navier-Stokes existence problem. It challenges doctoral candidates. Solve it by Friday, and I'll revise your grade and admit you to the competition." Darius took a picture of the board and walked out, his knees trembling. "That's not even high school math," Mia whispered. "That's PhD level." "I know," he said, "but I have to try." That night, he met with Dr. Blake. After one look at the equation, Blake's expression darkened. She disguised a topological problem as a fluid dynamics problem. "This isn't just hard, it's misleading." But Darius didn't back down. "I want to solve it." Blake smiled slowly. "In that case, let's walk around the problem, not through it." They worked late into the night. Darius's father's notebooks held pieces of the puzzle, approaches rooted in non-Euclidean geometries, equations scribbled in the margins years ago that now glowed with new meaning. On Thursday night, after hours of calculations and failed paths, Darius jolted upright. "This isn't a fluid problem, it's topological." With Blake's guidance, he restructured the equation, reframed its conditions, and finally, saw the solution take shape. It was elegant, radical, and new. Friday morning arrived. The classroom was packed. Word had spread. Faculty members gathered at the back. Headmaster Marks sat quietly near the door. Professor Whitmore stood at the front, arms folded. "Mr. Evans," she said, "you may begin." Darius walked to the board, set down his papers, and turned to the crowd. "This challenge wasn't just mathematical," he began. "It was personal. But I'm not here to prove a point. I'm here to prove a solution." For the next 30 minutes, he walked them through each step, explaining his reasoning, the reframing of the problem, the non-traditional methods. The room was silent, except for the sound of chalk. When he finished, Dr. Blake stepped forward. "This solution is correct," he said. "And not just that, it represents a new approach to an old problem. I'll be recommending it for publication." The faculty erupted in quiet murmurs. Professor Whitmore's face had drained of color. "That methodology is unorthodox," she said, reaching. "But valid," another professor interjected. "Exceptionally so." Headmaster Marks stood slowly. "It appears Mr. Evans has more than met your challenge, Miss Whitmore." That evening, Whitmore stormed into his office with her father, Arthur Whitmore, Westbridge's largest donor. "This is political," Arthur snapped. "That boy humiliated my daughter." "He solved the problem she gave him," Marks replied. "And she struck him with a ruler." "We have medical reports." "Lies," Whitmore hissed. But Mia was ready. She stepped forward, notebook in hand. 27 documented incidents. Grading disparities. Comments. "I kept everything." Marks was silent for a long moment. Then he turned to Whitmore. "You're suspended, pending full review." "Do you know what you're doing?" Arthur growled. "I do," Marks said. "I'm doing what I should have done from the beginning." Weeks passed. Whitmore was dismissed. Arthur Whitmore resigned from the board. Westbridge reevaluated its admissions policies. In the spring, a new center opened on campus, the Elijah Evans Mathematical Institute, named for Darius's father. Darius stood at the podium, now leading a mentorship program for underrepresented students in STEM. "Mathematics," he said, "doesn't care where you come from, only that you dare to reach for the truth." And when a new student, a nervous Latina girl, walked up to him clutching her acceptance letter, Darius smiled and said, "You belong here. Let's prove it together."